Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to yet another episode of the Carrier Experience Podcast. We appreciate every single one of you. Don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube, subscribe to iTunes or Spotify, Stitcher, anywhere where you catch your podcast. But let's go ahead and just kick things off, and we'll talk a little bit about our 10 steps to writing an insurance policy. Tune in.
The Carrier Experience Podcast is a show for anyone who wants to grow their agency and be a titan of the insurance industry. Learn from a panel of experts who share their agency struggles, their experiences with the nation's best carriers, and share the marketing secrets that successful insurance agents are using today. Now, here's your host, the insurance bro, James Cias.
The insurance bro. Thank you again, Alex, for that awesome intro. I love it every single time I hear it. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. It is that time again. I don't know about you guys, but I'm super excited. Before we kick off the show, I want to remind everybody to please run over to the YouTube, hit that little subscribe button, the alert button if you'd like. 2:30-ish every day is when I'm going to be live on YouTube Live, Facebook Live, Periscope for Twitter, and yeah, I mean we're all over the place. Twitch is another one, and also if you could subscribe for iTunes or Spotify or wherever it is that you listen to your podcast. I would definitely love some feedback. Leave a review. 5 stars if you'd like, 1 star if you think I suck, whatever, it's fine. Either way, feedback is more than welcome. Would love to hear from all of you, anybody who's out there listening. I know I've got at least a few listeners because I've got comments, and I appreciate every single one of you. It's pretty great. So today's episode, we are talking about the 10 steps to writing an insurance policy. 10 steps to writing an insurance policy. This is something that I developed over the years. So if you remember me talking about the way that I started with Pipeline Insurance way back in 2013, there was no set structure. There was no instructions, right? I kind of got to sit with somebody for like a day or two, and they basically kicked me to the curb and said, all right, see you later. Call me if you need me. Try not to call me. Not the best training experience in the world, right? But when I joined with Pipeline Insurance, one of the things that I definitely wanted to do was put my military training to work. And one of the things that they definitely taught us in the Navy was how to follow instructions. They were really, really good about teaching us how to follow instructions, let me tell you. So I wanted to put together a guideline that I would use and that I would also use to teach other people how to write insurance. So what I came up with was originally 13 steps, but now I've got it down to just 10. 10 lovely steps that make it super easy for anybody who wants to write insurance. These 10 steps were developed here at Pipeline Insurance, and they go along with our guidelines. They go along with what fits for us, but I definitely think that it's something that any agent can use with any agency, from any agency. So here we are. I'm just going to go ahead and run through these today. Starting at step number 1, obviously, talked about this a lot yesterday. Obtain lead and gain trust. This is probably one of the most important things that an agent needs to do. And a lot of times we get into the insurance industry and think that we're just going to set up shop somewhere, open the doors, and call it a day. The crowds are going to rush in, right? We're going to put a sign out in front that says insurance sold here. And we think that that's going to be enough to bring in customers. In some sense, it is. You could have a guy or a gal sitting outside with a big cardboard sign, spinning the sign, pointing them towards your office, and you'll get plenty of walk-in business that way. That definitely does happen. But what we want to teach our agents, what we believe insurance agents can excel at, is being trusted advisors. We talked about this a lot yesterday, and that's why step 1 is so important, where it says gain trust. This comes through doing a lot of what we talked about yesterday, which was creating credibility for yourself. It's going from invisible to visible by getting in front of as many people as you can and telling them what it is that you do every single day. One trick that I learned, by the way, when it comes to figuring out how many people, if you're talking to enough people, is to put marbles in your pocket. You put 5, 10 marbles in your pocket, however many your goal is. And every time you speak to someone about insurance, every time that you talk to someone new about what you do, you move a marble from the right side to the left side. And the goal is, of course, to fill up that left pocket with all of those marbles and talk to however many people it is that you are planning to talk to every day about insurance. Become visible, gain credibility, become a trusted advisor in the insurance space. So step 1 is to obtain your lead, which is being visible, gain trust by getting credible. Okay. And then you get to sit down with your customer and develop a strategy. When it comes to developing a strategy, one of the things that we teach is to lead with home. We want homeowners to be one of the requirements when it comes to writing and selling insurance to our customers. If we have a customer that is not a homeowner, we can still sell them an auto policy, probably a renter's policy, maybe stack that with an umbrella policy. And if they're business owners, maybe we can cross-sell over to their business lines, right? Definitely we have all of these capabilities, but we want homeowners specifically because we know that homeowners feel that they have assets to protect. They have more that they want to cover. So we want to make sure that we develop a strategy with them, which includes increasing their auto liability limits and cross-selling a umbrella policy, and even having a chance to speak with these people about life insurance and disability insurance, because we want to protect the mortgage payers themselves. What happens if one of our insureds gets into an auto accident and can't go back to work? In those instances, they're losing income. They don't have enough money to pay their mortgage. So what happens to their family? Their family starts suffering a financial crisis because they don't have the right coverages in place. And that's why disability insurance is as important as it is. So like I said, we lead with home because our homeowners have all of these assets to protect. It gives us as agents an opportunity to really be a trusted advisor and sell a complete package of policies. Then the last thing that we want to do is to obtain a signed BOR, which is a broker of record change form. With this broker of record change form, what we're able to do for our customers is say, hey, if you're with a company that we represent, but you want us to be your agent, you already have a policy with some other agency, we can take over that policy at the time of renewal. So when you get that signed BOR, it gives you an opportunity to just move the business over under your umbrella so that you can control the business and make these changes for your customer and, help provide that service. I am lucky enough to have a big brother who loves me and cares about me and jumps on the podcast with me. What up, bro?
What up? Dude, I was just finishing up another show here. Some cool stuff that I'm finding in this podcast space, let me tell you. But now we get to, and I got to talk about writing insurance. And one of the things I was talking about was the simplicity of having a system in place to follow a process to get things done. And I was talking about how when we first started Pipeline Insurance, it was very much a toolbox. And here's the toolbox, figure it out on your own. And what you've done, especially with the 10 steps of writing an insurance, is giving somebody instruction manual, right? So think of like a box of Legos. Here's a box of Legos, create the Millennium Falcon, right? Go for it. And most people are going to look at a box of Legos and know what the Millennium Falcon looks like in their mind, but not have a clue of how to take the little pieces and put them together. You literally have an instruction manual right here. This is how you do it.
Yep.
Step 1, do this. Step 2,
one,
do this.
Gain your lead.
Step 3,
Yep.
do this. What step are we on?
We are just on step 2, actually. So step 2 is create the EasyLinks client file and properly assign yourself as the agent. And what this is for our agency is just basically saying, hey, get into our agency management system and create the customer profile. If you don't create the customer profile, we have enough agents that it can be a mess. It can be it can get to a point where our admins are going to the entire agency, to everybody on the team, and trying to find out whose customer is this. Don't put yourself in a position, if you work for another agency, where your boss is asking whose customer is this. Make sure that whatever agency you're working for, if you use an agency management system, and especially if you have multiple agents, make sure that you create that customer profile, assign it to yourself, and so that nobody else can take credit for that customer. And if you are your own agent, you don't have an agency management system, or you don't have a bunch of agents in your office, I would definitely suggest using an agency management system. The one that we use is called EasyLinks. It combines a bunch of different things, which includes all of our database operations, which is pretty simple stuff, customer names and contact information, policy information, all that good stuff to generate renewal reports, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But there's also features such as the sales automation, CRM is built in, and also the retention center. Retention center is another cool piece that allows us to look ahead at what's coming up for renewal and generate reports around that for what has a 15% or 10% increase, so that we can target those customers as high risk potential movers.
It's just knowing your data, right? The more you know, the data that you have is valuable and important. That's why Google is as powerful as it is. That's why Amazon is as powerful as they are. They know
All
what you're
about
going
that
to do
data.
before you do it.
Yep.
It's about being proactive. So if you're using a client management system and you have your files up to date, you can run a report and say, look, give me the X dates for next month. And then you can start looking at your X dates coming up and proactively shopping these things out, especially if you have larger accounts. Maybe you need 2 or 3 months out that you need to start doing a little bit of research, collecting those loss runs, collecting all the data that you need ahead of time, so you're prepared, because your clients are going to love the fact that you know what they need before they know it. Like,
yes,
if
that's
you're
that proactive support that we were talking about in our 3 pillars. That third pillar is all about that proactive support and making sure that we are taking care of our customers way ahead of time. And I don't want to cut you off, but I know that we're going to be short on time, so I just kind of want to move forward here.
Go for it.
So moving on to step number 3, which is collecting information pertinent to the line of business for quoting. This is pretty straightforward. We have forms that we can fill out that are going to ask you all of the information that you need for your customer, right? You get just a easy, you can download so many of these different ones too. They're like, just go to Google and type in auto insurance intake form, right? Something like that. And you're going to literally just picked one and slapped our logo on it and called it a day, right? Collect the information that you need to generate the quote, which means the customer's driving information if you're doing an auto quote, their address if you're doing a homeowner's quote, their gross sales or payroll if you're doing any kind of commercial, right? Any of that stuff, you need to make sure to get that information. And what we always tell, as far as our personal lines go, what we teach our agents is that there's 3 ways to get the information. Option number 1 is to ask the insured for their current declarations page. If you can get a copy of their deck page, you can gather all the information. Maybe there's a little bit that's missing. You can throw in some generic information just to get through it. But get that declarations page and you can generate a quote that way. Option number 2 is to use these questionnaires that we're talking about. Put one of those questionnaires together, boom, you got the information you need. And option number 3 is to have the customer in front of you or on the phone as you ask the questions and generate the quotes simultaneously. So any of these 3 are options. If you are communicating with your customers via email or text, it's probably going to be one of those first 2. If somebody walks into your office, it's going to be that third one.
Perfect.
Number 4 is to create a quote, okay, and then verify the guidelines in your code of ethics, in our code of ethics, as you provide the price indication. So it's all that process of actually going through and entering that information. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if you know this or not, but insurance is a lot of data entry, like a ton of data entry. It's ridiculous how much data entry is involved and record keeping. Insurance is so much about the paperwork that you have and putting it together to say, here's the price you're going to pay. So
it's presentation.
It's presentation. Yeah, it is. It is. It's presentation. It's relationships. It's what it really is. But step 4 is all about actually just taking that information that you gathered from declarations pages or questionnaires, or with the customer sitting in front of you, and putting it into the system so that you can get an indication back, a price indication back. We have our code of ethics that gives our agents guidelines. So one of the things that I talked a little bit about yesterday, and I'll talk more about on Friday, assuming we don't have a guest book, is the rules that carriers put into place that we're expected to follow. In order to maintain good loss ratios and to maintain the types of customers that our carriers want, we have to have standards of operating, right? Standards of minimum mileage, minimum coverages, all these different types of things. And so we put in this step 4, as you're creating the quote, verify those guidelines with our code of ethics and with the other tools and resources that we give you, so that once you have entered all the information correctly, you'll be able to provide a price indication to your customers.
Next,
number 5, collect required documents and upload to your agency management system. We have Easy Links again, and this is, like I said, all about that record keeping. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are an insurance agent and you are not keeping all of your conversations, if you have a text conversation with your insured, take a screenshot, upload it to your management system, upload it to your client file. If you have an email conversation, print that email conversation to PDF and upload it to the customer file. If you have a phone call with your customer, make sure that you get into your agency management system, create a note for that customer, and type the activity out. What did you talk about? What was the resolution? Did they call to make a payment? Were you able to make the payment for them? Did they call to ask you about coverages? What did you tell them about their coverages? Every conversation that you have, whether it's by phone, by text, by in person, every conversation that you have, make a log of it. It's going to save you in the long run. If you ever have litigation, if you ever get sued and your E&O is on the line, you are going to want records. You're going to want to make sure that you kept good documentation of every conversation that you have had with your customer. So that's what step 5 is all about. Collect required documents. Collect driver's licenses for all drivers on or ID cards, okay, whatever your carriers will allow. Driver's licenses, registrations for every vehicle. Make sure that those registrations match your named insureds. Get documentation for the homes that you are insuring. Get documentation for the businesses that you're insuring. All the documentation that you possibly can get, put it together, upload it to the client file, make sure that you have that stuff. And this is the information that I based my indication off of. Next, on to number 6, requesting a bindable proposal. This is something that we provide for our agency. Pipeline Insurance gives our agents the easy button. Our agents have the ability to collect the declarations page or fill out a questionnaire, submit it through our website to our back office team, our agent support rock stars, and what we do is we run the quote for the agent. So the agent doesn't even have to worry about doing all of that. Our agents can continue to make connections and build their networks and not have to worry about the nitty-gritty of actually typing out the information and doing all of that data entry that we were talking about. So we give our agents that easy button. Of course, there are some agents who want to get in there and get into the system and learn it, and they do, but for starters, we want to make sure that they have the easy button. They don't even have to worry about all of that. We want to make sure that they make it as easy as possible. Goal number one is make it as easy as possible for an agent to write, submit, and refer business. So once they've gotten that indication, they can request that bindable proposal. In order to get a bindable proposal, I'm about to switch it up right here. In order to get a bindable proposal, here is some value for all of you, ladies and gentlemen, insurance agents out there. Have an underwriting checklist. These are the things that we need in order to provide a bindable proposal to our insured. We need to verify all of the information that you see on your screen right now for an auto policy to make sure that we have everything that we need correct. Right?
And for those of you who are listening, reach out to James at Insurance Broham on Instagram, on Twitter, wherever. So if you want a handout or a printout of what the checklist for underwriting that is on the screen that you're not seeing live because you're listening to this audio, we can send that to you at Insurance Broham
on all social media. Yeah, definitely. So we have one for our auto policies. We have another one for our homeowners policies. These are the things that we need to verify in order to be able to provide a bindable proposal. Otherwise, they are just soft indications based on the information that we have available. But we do want to be able to provide those bindable proposals to our customers. And we won't mess up and have to change the price or anything like that. So all of that gets done by having all of that information. We're able to complete all of the supplemental and application questions on the carrier's website, order those reports. And once we have that bindable proposal, we put a nice little cover page on there. It looks really nice and pretty. And we go ahead and we present that proposal to our customer. When we're presenting the proposal, we're going to have all of the application questions. When it comes to a homeowner's policy, we're going to have the reconstruction cost estimator report, and we're going to go through and verify all of the coverages, all of the questions, the premium, and all of the cross-sell opportunities to make sure that we have covered all of our bases, to make sure that we're offering the most comprehensive package of policies to best protect our customers. Again, remember that we are trusted advisors, not order takers. We want to give our customers the best service and education so that they can make the best insurance decisions for themselves. So step 7 is all about printing and presenting the proposal. I will also always say, if you are interested in getting some coaching here, we do have a sales coach. She is amazing. She does coaching not just for Pipeline Insurance, but for agents all over San Diego. Suzanne Romo, you can definitely shoot her an email, SuzanneRomo@yahoo.com, and she'll be happy to set something up to teach you how to present any type of insurance policy. Number 8, submit the bind request. Again, we're giving our agents the easy button since they don't have to do all of this data entry. All they're doing is saying, okay, our customer has decided to purchase this policy. Can you please bind it for us? And they're going to provide us with the payment information, the signed applications, documents, everything gets uploaded to the management system. Like I said before, make sure that you have all of that documentation in place so that if there's ever any litigation, and I promise you when there's a claim, your carriers are going to ask you for those signed applications. What did they sign? What did they say they had? What types of coverages did they agree on? Etc., etc., etc. So make sure that you keep those records on file. State of California says for a minimum of 5 years, but if you use a cloud-based system, you're just going to keep them in there forever. No reason why not. Step number 9 is more about data entry, making sure that you go into your system, into your management system, and input the policy information. Again, this is super important for anybody who's working in a larger agency with multiple agents. You want to make sure that the policies that you write get put into the system and you get credit for them, not someone else. Okay. The other cool thing that I'll mention here, since we're talking about inputting policy information into management system, management systems often communicate with the carriers through what's called Ivan's downloads. There are other methods, other ways of communications, but the most common one that we've seen is Ivan's downloads. So basically every night, your agency management system will get a stack of downloads from the carrier, and all of the information from that policy will be placed into the management system. The difference being, if you manually enter the information, the only information that's going to be there is the information that you put. So you might put the name of the carrier, the effective and expiration date, and the premium. Like, those are the basic things that you need to have in the system. But the downloads from the carrier will have not just that information, but also the policy information. If it's an auto policy, it'll have all of the information for each of the vehicles, all of the information for each of the drivers, including driver's license numbers, including lenders or bank information, additional insured information for your policies. It's really, really cool what an agency management system is able to do for us, and it gives us one core place to look for all of the customer and policy information. So if you have not talked to your carriers or your management system about those downloads, do it. It's going to help you so much. You're going to have so much more information in your management system, and you're going to utilize it in such a greater, better fashion. And then the last thing, the very last step before you call it quits, is to ask for the referral. Ladies and gentlemen, we do have a script that we provide to our agents. It's something along the lines of, Mr. and Mrs. Insured, I want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to help you with your insurance needs today. I hope that you've gained great value and education from the information that I provided to you. Is there anyone that you know that could benefit from this kind of service? It's always about asking for that referral. But as I have been talking about, our sales coach teaches you not to ask for the referral from the client, but how to build a strong network of referral partners. And that's going to be even more powerful. But since it is actually a copyrighted thing, I can't teach that. You have to be a Pipeline Insurance agent or hire Suzanne Romo yourself. Once again, Suzanne Romo at yahoo.com.
Although we might get her on the show to share some insight with our listeners. So make sure you guys take the opportunity right now. If you got some value out of today's episode, head over to YouTube, head over to Facebook, head over to Instagram, wherever it is that you're listening to us right now on your screen, and hit that little subscribe button. Make sure you tune in, hit the little bell. What we're trying to get across to you every single day is some valuable information, some practical and tactical insurance advice to help you write more business. So take a moment right now, hit the little subscribe button, tune in, and check us out every single day. The Carrier Experience is here to help you be a better insurance agent. So that's what we got for you today, Ham. By the way, I know I came in late, but you did a great job. I just wanted to let you know, man. I mean, if I wasn't if I wasn't a pipeline agent already, I would be interested in find out more. Where could we find out more?
That is the idea. Definitely, you can find out more at www.pipelineinsurance.com. If you are interested in becoming a insurance agent for Pipeline Insurance, just add a little backslash there and go to agent opportunities. So pipelineinsurance.com/agent opportunities.
And we are looking for guests. If you are in the insurance space, if you have been successful in insurance, you have some strategies that you've put into place, we'd like to hear about it. So check out www.carrierexperience.com/guest and apply to be a guest on the show so we can hear your story and how well you're doing in this space.
Heck yeah. Thanks again for hopping on. Thanks to every single one of our listeners. As I always say, every single one of you rocks my socks. You have my heart. Thank you so much for tuning in yet again. That's all we got for you. In the words of the great Mick Foley, have a nice day.
Thank you for tuning in to the Carrier Experience Podcast. James is a CEO of the Pipeline team of San Diego and is always in the market for top talent. If you are an agent looking for a place to hang your license, visit pipelineinsurance.com/agent opportunities or send an email to newagent@pipelineinsurance.com. You can find James